Aquarius Zodiac Fairy making trip. What we know is that Aquarians are fiercely individual people, humanitarians that look to the future for opportunities that will benefit all of mankind. As air signs, they are kind but detached. They operate from logic, sparked by intuition, driven by ideas and ideals. They can become gladiators for a cause that will further equality. They can be challenging people, yet blessed with a rare quality, perspective. Let's take all of that and translate it into a fresh fairy for 2025. Hello. Oh, hi, I hope that wasn't too trippy for you. I don't really have a ready-made Aquarius Fairy to show you, but I made a little mock-up of what I think I want to include in the new design. So there's a little little mock-up of what I want to do. Anyway, I'm going to show you in some detail when I've got it on the felting part. It's hairy around here. So it's basically the body is going to be wide and the skirt is going to come out a bit like this and have some nice decorations around the bottom, which I'm going to do with these beads. Probably going to be in the shape of the sort of Aquarian wavy symbol. The main change really is this collar that I really want to put on, which is supposed to look slightly cool and aloof and futuristic. Not quite sure how I'm going to integrate it with a dress yet, or the headpiece. The headpiece is actually going to be this color here rather than the dark grey. That was just what I had on hand, and again that's going to be very interesting and going to get embellished a bit, I think, with maybe some beads and wire. I definitely want to use some wire in the making of this. So yeah, I'm going to start by making the body, and then I probably make the collar. That's really big, this version, so collar that is the right size for whatever head I'm about to make, and then we're going to take it from there. Oh, one more thing, I was thinking it would be really cool to include like a panel or just on top of the dress coming down at the front on both sides of some sort of spacey looking sigils or something, as a reference to the mind-basedness of the Aquarian people. But let's see how we go with that. So I'm going to start off with some merino in a skin color. I mean, you can of course use any kind of skin color you like, but I tend to use this because I'm in the north of Scotland and we just don't have that many black people up here. So I got carried away just making it there. So I start with just making a knot in the strip and building it up a little bit more, and then I fold over this part. There's a more detailed explanation of how I made the head in the Capricorn video and also in the Snowdrop Fairy video. And you need some thread, of course. I want it to be huge. So make it in a nice shape, and then tie it off. I hope you liked my little crystal friends I brought along today. I picked out a few that I like have a bit of an Aquarian vibe, like aquamarine, of course, up there, and celestite over there. I think all the kind of light blue, calming ones, cool, calm, and collected mind crystals, like the fluorite over here. They have quite Aquarian vibe. What have we here then? Yep, that looks decent. Right, I think I'm going to build up quite a strong body. Usually I would just pull off the arms and then that would be the rest of my body, but I think I need something a little bit more substantial. So I'm going to build it up a bit more from the back. I'm going to pull the arms out nonetheless. Not too thick. So that's my basic arm. But I'm going to build that up a bit more from the back there. Of course, if I do some wiring and stuff, it needs to actually have somewhere to attach to. If you hear voices and humming in the background, that would be the council workers that have just literally ripped off the roof from my block of flats. And I'm putting on new insulation and stuff right now. So if there's odd noises, that's what that is. Okay. Like that. I did also wonder about putting a little bit of a knock on her, just so her head rises a bit more above the shape and stuff of the dress. So let me try that quickly. Clanging and banging. Alrighty. I'm gonna get her legs shaped out as well at this point. Oops, that was not touched. Because then you get a better idea of the size and you're less likely to make it too big. I know a lot of people like to do the fairies with a wire inside, but I kind of never made friends with that idea. I like them to be more fluid. So that's a dress, that's a skirt, then we roughly have a little bit of legs on there. I think I'm going to make the collar first. So I just need a bit of wire. This is 5mm. Useful strength. I use that for a lot of different things. And I cut off a bit. Maybe 10, 15 centimeter. So it comes around there. Not sure if it should go up like that. And then come down. So it goes more with the shape of the headpiece. My head is about 2.5, 8.5, 9 centimeter. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a bit of glue on there, just a normal white, and I'm going to gently put a layer of scissors around the frame, not too much at a time, just to give it something to hold on to. Sometimes you can do that with beeswax and it will hold quite nicely, but this wire is so slippery and so thin. And I definitely wouldn't use super glue for that, because I don't want the wire to be attached to your fingers. Just so there's a little. It's not tight enough, you can felt it a bit. Always go easy when you're felting next to a wire, because it's very easy to break your needle, which is annoying. So you want that to be quite delicate, really. This is quite butch, really. It was just like a quick version I made. I want it to be really finer than this, so. It's a bit of a tricky construction. Thing is, if this is all a bit too fancy and further fancy for your liking, you can of course make the fairy without this collar and just skip forward to when I attach the dress, and then just attach the dress without this collar. But I really just want to try something different. It's all a bit jiggly. So I got the basic shape of the collar, and then I start just adding the slivers over it and felt it down, so I end up with hopefully a thin cover on there. Just fold it over. nice and even. To the other side as well. Then from the side, make sure it's nice and even. I hope this works out the way I imagined it. Starting to take shape a little bit. I think I leave the bottom part quite fluffy for the moment, so I can integrate it into the dress better. Now we're slightly getting in the region of somewhere. I'm gonna give it a little hand felt. Then I felt it down a bit more. Oh, that's looking pretty decent. Might tie up the fluff a little bit gently so you don't cut excellent the holes in it. Give it another little. That might actually do. So, let's see how that comes together. So it comes around the front, and then it was supposed to bend out like that. All the way, because then it looks too, I don't know. More open maybe. Let's see. Of course we need to cut some space in there to put the arms in. This is some tricky idea I've given myself there. Just like the wild roving, and build up a bit of a sort of cone shape that goes back, almost like these ancient Greek hairstyle that sort of came back to a point here, but a little bit longer than that. I remember looking at those when I did my hairdressing training, actually. What is the meaning of this strange headpiece? And I think it's almost like an antenna. It goes up to the universe and indicating sort of ideas and intuition and impulses that Aquarians can pick up almost out of thin air. That needs to be quite tight because there's quite a bit of stuff going on top that needs to have somewhere to stick onto. Float aside a bit more. Yeah, this is not a quick fairy to make, so more the kind of novelty. I just had an interesting insight actually regarding the collar, because remember those strange beings you saw in the introduction? Well, I actually, when I first came to Scotland and I did a lot of exploring around our galactic history and all of that stuff, and I started painting these planetary mandalas. And the first one I did was Mercury, because I'm a Virgo and that's our ruling planet. But then the second one I painted was actually this one, Uranus. And somebody said yesterday it looks like a ram, but it's actually based on a fish shape, if you look at it. Like a fish from the front, and then it's got some manta rays in there in the background. And yeah, it's, I mean, Uranus in spiritual terms is also very related to Sirius. And they're actually very powerful cosmic beings, if you're interested to hear. And the one time that I saw them, in a very significant fashion, I seem to recall they actually wore some kind of collars similar to that. So that's probably where that idea suddenly came from. Interesting. Yeah, they're very very up there in the hierarchy, shall we say. But let's not get too spacey. Alrighty. Where are we? What are we doing? So, let me, without felting it actually down. So tricky to do when you don't have a prototype. That's why I always say keep a prototype. But I only ever made like 3 or 4 of these, and they would sold, so I don't know why I didn't keep one. Gosh, I think at the time I was making so many different fairies. So I thought, if I keep one of every single one, I'm gonna have too many floating about and not enough to sell, so. Alright, let's see. For a premiere of getting this fairy dressed like this. It almost looks like a little wizard collar as well, doesn't it? Maybe that's where the inspiration really came from. Who knows? It's making a bit of a funny. See where I'm going with that? So it's almost a bit of a snow queen look, isn't it? So for the dress was, as I remember, it's vaguely resembling a sort of cloud shape. Make it a little bit smaller somehow. So and connecting the skirt. So then I start bringing in the shape and the length of the skirt a bit to make it a little more compact. Because it's supposed to be quite a sort of stiff shape. It's not like super fluffy like a cloud. Because I want to attach the beads around the outside here as well. So it needs to be fairly, not solid, but also not super soft. It just needs to be pretty much one shape. Not too flowery, if you know what I mean. I think it's still a bit puffy. And maybe I'm gonna make it more this shape rather than this shape. What are we thinking? Might also be quite fun. Oh yeah. How is this? One of my legs is a bit thinner. What we think? Right, I think I'm not gonna know what is what until I really put the headpiece on. It's a bit too bulky for my liking. That's the inner shape. The outer shape is going to be built up on top of that. Hey, I hope you're still here because now it's about to get really interesting. So now what I would like for the headpiece, which I'm gonna use these two shades for, I think, is for those to be slightly reflected in the bead I'm using at the bottom so it doesn't clash color-wise. So there needs to be a little bit of a red touch in there. So let's start building up this headpiece. I'm just gonna tear off a few strips. And then my Greco Roman hairstyle is gonna start to develop. And I'm gonna take it so that's like a wavy line going up. I can follow. So I'll give some of those a twist so you get some different textures. It almost reminds me a little bit of a snail shape as well, because interesting. There's a water bearer symbol that is assigned to Aquarius. I'm not quite sure where that symbol comes from actually. How did the water bearer become associated with Aquarius? Anybody know? Let's find out. Because it's an air sign, doesn't really make sense, doesn't it? It does make sense when I consider my Uranus picture and the fish connection that has. Or shall we say primordial sea connection that has. So maybe it goes right back to that. Who knows? So you build this up in a charming manner. If you ever felt something too far in, you can just take a thick needle and kind of pull it up again to adjust the shape. Don't lose the shape of the collar. Connected. Hope that works. Why I came up with that was because somebody gave me this whole jar of these beads, and I thought, oh, what can I do with them? They're such a pretty color. And I came up with this design. So what I did was to apply the Yoo-hoo just around the edge and then stick the beads on. Oh yeah, that looks quite pretty. There's a little bit of grey at the bottom there. I like that. Gonna touch. I'm gonna make it drip down a little bit or go up a little bit. If I make it so there's a few drops coming down, and then it's almost like they're collecting here. I think that would be good, almost like a sort of condensation, like the word condensing into the material. That makes sense. From the concept to the word and to the material. See, I like it when things make sense. And we'll be done. Ah, how is that? I rather like that. So, wings. Simple in shape, not too fluffy. But I think I want them to be quite stiff, like not floppy wings. Oh, she looks so pretty. I like her. That's nice, because I wasn't too sure about that for a while. We might have to shape it a little bit more. Very grand. Well, she would definitely look nice on a Christmas tree, that's for sure. Yeah, that will do. She looks quite grand, doesn't she? Wow, lovely. Definitely, definitely does justice to the Uranus beings, I must say. Interesting. Right, let me attach those and put a little hanger on her, and you can admire her in all her glory.